Some people love them, some people hate them. Let's talk co-ops. If you're new here, I'm Rian, a Christ-following wife and a homeschool mom to 3 boys. Here we talk all things homeschool, and we will learn together how to use our roles as wife, mom, teacher, and homemaker in order to glorify God. So this is a collaboration hosted by my friend Anna over at Just Making It Work. And she just got a few of us homeschool moms together and asked kind of our ideas and our thoughts on co-op. If it's, a good fit for us, not a good fit, if we recommend it, don't recommend it. Just to kind of share our experience on that and our ideas on that. So don't forget to check out that playlist and check out Anna's channel. So when it comes to co-op, I do not think there's one black or white answer, one blanket statement that you can make about co-ops. I think it depends on a lot of different things as to if this is the right choice for your family or not. So just to give you a little bit of my background, when I first started homeschooling, I felt like kindergarten, day 1, I had to have a co-op. Now, my reasoning was poor. My reason was that I didn't want people in my family that didn't understand homeschooling to think that I was going to mess up my kid. I wanted everyone to be like, oh, well, at least she's doing a co-op. So I could say, oh, they're getting socialization in still, they're gonna have friends and all this stuff. It was more for other people than it was for me. However, the Lord used that, and I fell in love with the co-op that we joined when my oldest son started kindergarten, and we were there up until the end of his 4th grade year. We were in that co-op, like I said, up until last year, and then we took this past school year off just with having the baby, and some things happened with that co-op and whatever. And we ended up having COVID and a bunch of other stuff happened. So this was my first year without a co-op. And it was a nice, refreshing year. It was a good year to take a break. But that being said, I'm ready for something new this upcoming year. Now let me talk about the wrong reasons to join a co-op. Number 1, like I just said, to appease the naysayers, or to, if you're doing it for someone else that's not you or your child, it's the wrong reason. If you're doing it just to feel involved, just to feel like, oh, I'm a part of something, or if you're doing it out of fear, like I can't homeschool on my own, I'm gonna mess up, I need someone else to let me know that this is okay and whatever. Now, those don't sound like totally bad reasons, but if those are your reasonings only for doing co-op, then they are bad reasons. Because I do think that there are right reasons to join a co-op that kind of mimic those. And that is, instead of just to feel involved, well, do you really need friends? Are you in a place where you don't have much support and you really need that support system? You need, people who can help you homeschool because, you're kind of lost on how to do it or whatever. Or maybe you're surrounded by people who are kind of negative. So that does not mean you join a co-op just so that you can appease them, but so you can find some support for people who are kind of on the same journey as you. I think it is also a good place to help where you have weaknesses. Maybe you are really bad at teaching science, and so you go to a co-op where they teach science there. Or maybe you're really great at teaching math, so you can go there and help them with their math, and someone else can teach your kids science. I think it's also great to do it if you are wanting your kids to learn how to learn from someone other than you. That is one huge benefit I see from co-ops, is that your kids are made to sit and listen to someone else, made to respect authority that isn't in their own house. I also believe there are wrong seasons for co-ops. For me, like this year, a new baby, it was not the right time. Now, I will say with my 3rd, I was in the middle of co-op when I had him, and I came back when he was 2 weeks old. But it was just a different season for me. Like, it was, for whatever reason, super easy to do that with him. But if I would have tried to do that with pretty much any of my other babies, especially my 1st and my 4th, it would have not worked out so well. And sometimes there's just hectic times, and I don't necessarily mean hectic in a bad way. I just mean sometimes your schedule is already just jam-packed. And if you are already running from sport to sport, and you're already involved in a lot of stuff in your church, and maybe youth group or children's church, or maybe you're serving in your church and you're involved in different ministries or whatever, and you're gone several days a week anyway, maybe adding co-op is not for you in this season, because I'm sure you've all been there at one point or another where you're just gone too much. And you're like, wait, I thought this was homeschool. And there's nothing wrong with being busy. I think homeschool moms can actually be busier than any other mom sometimes. but I think there is such thing as too busy. And then sometimes you're just going through big life changes. So that could be like us for this year, it was a move or maybe a job change, or, you know, maybe there's relationship issues, stuff going on in your life that is making you unstable. And yes, you still need those relationships and those friendships, but maybe it's not the time to kind of commit to something weekly where you're pouring into other people. Maybe it's a time to just kind of like step back and, you know, keep your friends and whatever, but not necessarily go full force into a co-op. Now, I think there are also right seasons to join a co-op. If you are in a place where you just have room in your schedule, that is a great opportunity. I think if you are in a season where you need fellowship, not necessarily in a crisis situation, but you're just like, wow, I just need fellowship for me and my kids, with other like-minded people, I think that's a great season to join a co-op. And if you are noticing, you know, kind of some holes in your homeschool and you think that you have found the co-op that could help fill that, that would be a great time to join too. I think you also have to be careful on what kind of co-op you're talking about, because not all co-ops are created equal. There are so many different types. I've seen where 2 or 3 families just get together within homes and they just do a science experiment together, or they, you know, study their history at home and then they come together and do some sort of project together or a play or something like that. Super, super low key, super small. I've also seen, you know, there's a co-op here locally that a lot of my friends attend, and it has over 500 students. It's basically a private school is what it feels like to me. They have their own sports teams and everything. And there they offer a huge plethora of classes. And so I think you have to kind of find what co-op means to you, what's available to you. I've seen things like CC where it's like very structured and very, this is how we do it across the board. And there's, you know, not really much wiggle room. I've seen co-ops that it's just social. It's just, let's go hang out at the park once a week. I've seen co-ops that are just field trip based. I've seen co-ops that, like mine that I attended for 5 years, where it was, you know, a set amount of classes, and kind of the junior high and high school kind of had their own thing going on, and then the elementary kids did something, and then the younger kids did something, but it was set classes. It was, you know, geography or science or art or music, apologetics, stuff like that, that is easy to do as a group. So I think if you find this is a season for you to join a co-op and you have really good reasons for wanting to join a co-op, I think you need to pay attention to those different types. Are you wanting academics? Are you wanting just a social group? Are you wanting a co-op that is free or close to free? Because some of those co-ops can cost thousands of dollars a year, and that may just not be something that's feasible to you or something that you just necessarily want to do right now. I think you also have to consider the parent involvement. So some co-ops, I know, like if you're in it, you're teaching a class no matter what. Like you have got to take on a class and teach that class each week. I know some co-ops that are a drop off, like you just take your kid, you drop them off, you go. And again, I see everything in between. You also have to consider their worldview. So are they a Christian co-op or are they not? And, you know, what do you want between those two? And then also just consider, you know, what kind of people are going to be here? Are they going to be the people that support my worldview? Are they going to be people who are going to, I mean, obviously you have to consider, are they going to be safe for my kids to be around? But also, you know, are these people that I'm going to get along with, even if you don't agree 100% with everything? But are these people that we have kind of the same vision and the same goal in mind, and we can work together well? So you could be like, okay, I do want to co-op. It's a great season. I have great reasons, and I know what kind I'm looking for. And I'm looking, and it's not here. Well, that's what I ran into this year. Ever since my co-op disbanded, I have been looking and I have had a rough time. I don't know, you know, we live in a pretty homeschool friendly area, but I just wasn't finding exactly what I was looking for. And so I was praying about it, and that is when I was like, I wonder if I could start my own co-op. And at first I was like, no, but I just kind of put some feelers out there for, you know, some mamas that I knew, and I got a pretty good response. And lo and behold, here I am. I am starting my own co-op this year. So for me, this is what this is going to look like. Again, every co-op is different, and that is what is so cool about them. For us, it is going to be members of my church, and so people that I am already in community with, because that was my biggest thing, is I found myself I have lots of friends, and that's not a bad thing, but I have, you know, people at church that I am committed to. We are doing life together. We are in community together. We are, you know, spending 2 or 3 times a week together, and our kids play together and know each other. And then I have, you know, my YouTube people that I interact with on the daily. And then I have, you know, friends that I've been friends with for a long time that we just see each other here and there. And I have family, and I'm like, okay, I was getting pulled in way too many different directions. So I was like, what would it look like if I took the people that I'm already in fellowship with, because our church happens to have a lot of homeschoolers, and did something like a co-op with them? And so that's what we're going to do. Right now we are weighing our options as far as what everyone's needs and desires are. Right now for us, that's looking more like we're going to have a science class for our elementary, middle school kids. We're going to have a fine arts class, which will have a drawing class, and kind of art/drawing class, and alternating with a music class where they'll do a hymn study and learn basic music. And then we will have a geography class. They'll be learning world geography. And then we will have kind of a PE/social hour where we can eat lunch and just hang out to wrap up the day. And then for the littles, so for kindergarten down to 2-year-olds, we are going to be having kind of a literature based preschool, I guess. It's more kind of like 5 in a row style, if you know that curriculum, where we will be reading a picture book each week, and we will be doing some sort of music/movement activity that is related to that book. We will be doing a craft related to that book. We'll be having kind of a little mini devotional time. We'll go outside, we'll do centers, maybe a little bit of science related to that book, depending on what the book is. And so that will be super fun. That is like my favorite age to deal with. And so we'll have a lot of fun there. And the big thing is, if you're starting a co-op, is working together, not just going in and being like, okay, who's in charge? All right, I'm in charge, you're in charge. Okay, great. What do you want me to do? Instead, it's let's bring our ideas. Let's, you know, we've had lots of texting back and forth and lots of meetings just talking about what we want to get out of this and how we're better going to do this. And so if starting a co-op's on your heart, you definitely can do it. It's scary, and I don't have as many people starting as I wish I did, but I think that's probably God's provision. I think he's probably like, this is enough for now. Like, we'll grow you if it's time to grow you. So let me know in the comments below, do you have a co-op? What are your thoughts on co-ops? And, you know, just weigh out your reasons for why you want a co-op and what season you're in and what kind of co-op you may be looking for. And then just put your feelers out, and who knows, you may be like me and end up having to start your own. But nevertheless, I think co-ops are a great idea in most seasons, as long as you go for the right reason and find the right one for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.